We are now at St. Michael's Parish in Brooklyn. This is the last friary in New York that Solanus was part of. Actually, in a different way than the other places that we have been to, because he came here and was here for only 9 months. And it was in 1945, and the superiors in Detroit were worried about him. He was now 73 and was putting in 18 hours a day, most every day, and was just being run down. And they wanted to give him a break where things would not be so taxing and there'd be fewer people coming to him. So they sent him here to St. Michael's in Brooklyn, and he really was happy to come here because he knew himself that he needed a break. This, incidentally, is the Friars' Chapel, where it's attached to the church, but this is where the friars, including Solanus, would have their morning prayer and evening prayer, and undoubtedly at times their own masses, and where Solanus, with his love of the Blessed Sacrament, would have spent many hours. Well, the quiet, peaceful atmosphere didn't last too long. The people in Detroit knew that Solanus had come to Brooklyn, and before long, people from Detroit started coming this way. And not only people from Detroit, but the people who had come to know him and love him at Sacred Heart in Yonkers and Our Lady of Sorrows here and Queen of Angels in Brooklyn, they came to know he was here. And the little parish offices that were needed for counseling or marriage preparation, baptismal preparation, or whatever, pretty soon they became crowded with people wanting to see Solanus or waiting to see Solanus, and it became difficult for Solanus, and it became difficult for the parish. So it was decided, even though Solanus loved this place, being here, it wasn't going to be the kind of peaceful, quiet, relaxed atmosphere that the superiors, the Capuchin superiors, had hoped it would be. And so after 9 months, the decision was made that he should go to Huntington, Indiana, to our novitiate, which would have been and was much more quiet, not in the city as this. And so from here, Solanus left to go to St. Felix Priory in Huntington and was there for 10, 12 years. So this is the last place in New York that was home to Blessed Solanus Casey. We are standing before the Church of St. Felix Friary in Huntington, Indiana. This is another place where Father Solanus came to live for 10 years of his life, toward the end of his life. St. Felix was built in 1928 as our Capuchin novitiate in Huntington, Indiana. And in the later years of his life in Detroit, he was working 18 hours a day and just totally wearing himself out in response to all the people coming and needing him. And so the province leadership decided that a really quiet place for him, which is exactly what he needs, is to go to Huntington, Indiana, to be at the novitiate where there aren't many crowds. So he came here in 1946. And the interesting thing is that before long, people in Detroit heard about it, and there were busloads of people that would come down nearly every week to see him. Uh, but it was, in general, more peaceful to him. Uh, and he was very happy here. This place, after a while in the late 70s, early 80s, there were fewer Cabochon novices. And so we had to let this place go. And it was first bought by a group of Evangelical United Brethren uh, who kept the room that he had lived in here very sacred. Uh, they, we give them a lot of credit and gratitude. But in 2010, I believe, somewhere around there, it came back into the hands of Catholic people through some very generous benefactors, and now is a retreat center and open to people of all faiths. So Saint Blessed Solanus is very important to them, and they have over here a statue of him that they have put up after his beatification.